O'Reilly! You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Avengers radio series, a cultural phenomenon in South Africa back in the 1970s. South Africa was a country with no national television service. It wasn't until 1976 that the country would get its first taste of television broadcasts. But before that, radio was the primary medium of entertainment and information for the masses. This was the context when The Avengers, a British spy FI series, made its debut on South African radio and became a cultural phenomenon. The Avengers was a British television series that originally aired from 1961 to 1969. The show revolved around the adventures of John Steed, a suave and sophisticated secret agent, and his various female associates. The series was a unique blend of traditional spy thriller elements with science fiction and fantasy, which set it apart from other shows of its time. While the series was hugely popular in the UK and had also made a significant impact in the American markets, being one of the rare British series given a network transmission slot, it was virtually unknown in South Africa. This was primarily due to the lack of a national television service in the country until 1976. However, as a film series, The Avengers was able to gain some exposure in South Africa through film rentals. But it was the launch of the radio series that truly brought The Avengers to the masses in South Africa. Come and listen at www.myclassicradio.net.
And stay tuned right now for those two characters of many characters, CBS Radio's Bob and Ray.
And now, Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding present the CBS Radio Network.
Where were you all? I thought we were going to have to call Dennis Howard at the last minute until you showed up.
I was downstairs, Bob. I was talking with one of the fellows on the first floor, and we were discussing the building and how it has changed.
Oh, yeah.
In the few weeks that the men were here. And I might say that they have put to use a lot of space that before was wasted.
Well, that, of course, was as I described last week.
Stuff. Was that last week?
Yeah.
Think of it. Well, that's what I was... they said that you didn't have anything to do with it.
No, I didn't.
Well, to hear you a week ago, you'd think that you were the architect.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to leave that impression.
Didn't it sound like that to you, audience?
Yes, it did to me.
It did to me, and I thought that Bob...
No, I wasn't.
Bob was the architect.
No, I didn't try to give that impression.
Everything.
No.
The way he sounded.
No, they didn't consult me on anything about it.
That's the way it came through to us, Bob.
I was just explaining that they were looking for more adequate space and to make better use of it.
Uh-huh. Well, Bob, would you indicate now to Cyril, please, that it's time for the theme for Tom Lowell?
Cyril? Hello again, this is Tom Lowell, your well-known travel expert, ready to answer questions sent in by listeners here on the World of Travel. All set with the questions, Ray.
All set here. Mr. Lowell, is Sweden cold?
Yes, it is.
Say, Tom, with all this stuff going on about Cuba, is it really a dangerous place to be these days?
Not if you're a cigar.
I see. Tom, a listener wants to know if it's feasible to bicycle across the Sahara Desert.
Well, Ray, it's never been done before, but I'd have to say that if this person managed to negotiate the Sahara on a bicycle, it would be entirely feasible, yes.
Any other relatives you want to talk about? It certainly would take a lot of courage, though, wouldn't it?
And a good shovel.
Tom, what is a spelunker?
A spelunker is a person who allows himself to be lowered hundreds of feet into a cave.
A cave buff, in other words.
Yes, he'd certainly have to be called that, all right. But I believe the technical term for spelunker is nut.
A nut. Tom, a slightly apprehensive listener who plans to visit Hawaii, wants to know how one can tell whether or not a volcano is going to erupt.
Well, I get that question frequently. If a vacationer were to stand at the base of a presumably extinct volcano, there was suddenly a good deal of noise, flame, and molten lava coming from the volcano, it would be a safe bet.
Any other relatives you want to talk about?
If that was going to erupt.
I see. Well, Tom, is there such a thing as a white elephant?
Yes, in Africa. Now, there are some people who enjoy hunting white elephants, but the more experienced hunters feel that a white elephant is a white elephant.
So they don't go after them.
Right. Only the novices will try to shoot white elephants. The hunter who's been around usually contents himself with a safari or two.
Just a minute, Tom. The audience is coming closer to the stage. Move back. Mr. Lowell will be through shortly. Now, please, audience, move back. Remember now, you're not to harm Mr. Lowell when he's through here and goes out. He has to go up the center aisle and leave by the rear door. Now, move back, please.
Have to pass through the audience and...
Do not harm Mr. Lowell. All right, so now, let's see. How deep can a diver go wearing skin diving equipment?
All the way to the bottom if he's not careful.
That's a joke now, come on. A listener would like to know what the hanging gardens in Florence, Italy are hung from, or hanging on, or...
I don't really know.
Well, Tom, a gentleman planning a trip to London wants to know if it's true that England is sinking into the sea at the rate of 1/4 of an inch every 1,000 years.
Well, I was in England last month, Ray, and I didn't notice it.
I see. And a lady with a sense of humor wants to know if there are any food freezers in Greenland.
Surprising as it may seem, there are many food freezers in Greenland. The natives use them as steam baths.
And speaking of steam baths...
Yes, I've got to go now.
Thank you. All right now, audience, please, don't harm this gentleman. Thank you, Tom Lowell, for being with us tonight. You're a fine man when it comes to the earth. I'm not going to complain. He had it coming, too.
Sure he did.
Somebody carry him out, please, into the hall. Thank you.
Is that a memo you have there from the program department?
Yes. Let's see. This one says, quote, "In re-daytime stars, would appreciate a reminder on them during your show of the 29th. They are Arthur Godfrey, Gary Moore, Art Linkletter, Rosemary Clooney, and Bing Crosby. And they're heard each Monday through Friday. Thanks," end quote.
Well, I guess just reading the memo on the air like that should be enough, wouldn't it?
Well, you're probably right.
That was your end quote, was it?
Come again?
You said end quote. Did you make that up?
No, it's right there in the memo. See, right there. It says end quote.
Well, they think of everything.
A lot of everything there, yeah.
Hi, this is Johnny Braddock welcoming you to another edition of Sportsaphone. You all know the game. I'll start describing a famous sports figure. As soon as you think you know who it is, call me Johnny Braddock at Pickering 6. And the first person with the right answer wins a valuable 12-page sports encyclopedia. Okay? Time to play Sportsaphone. The sports figure I have in mind played many sports professionally.
I have to say that the person you're thinking of
Go ahead, sir.
How about that classy fighter Tony Zale?
Well, that's the wrong answer, sir. Besides, Tony Zale was never involved in any sport other than boxing.
How do you know that, Braddock?
Well, I don't reveal the sources of information on the show, sir. That's just say I know what I'm talking about.
Braddock, tell me something. Has anybody ever won anything on your show?
Phones here at the studio are lighting up, sir, and I'm afraid I don't have any more time for you. I wish you'd hang up.
I wish you'd hang up, Braddock. We'd all be better off.
One day, as a lark, he ran the mile in 4 minutes and 2 seconds.
I think I know who it is, Mr. Braddock.
All right, ma'am, who?
I think it's my husband, Emil Mallory.
Did he ever run the mile in 4 minutes and 2 seconds, Mrs. Mallory?
Oh, he must have, and I'm sure many of his friends must have done it, too.
For the professional athletes?
No, mostly the retired business people, like my husband. Incidentally, do I win the prize?
I'm afraid not, ma'am. Emil Mallory is the wrong answer.
Oh, dear. I wanted so much to win the 12-page sports encyclopedia.
Well, try again next week, Mrs. Mallory.
But won't it be a waste of time? I mean, with the reputation you've got, Mr. Braddock.
The curious thing about this quarterback who led the Baltimore Colts to victory last year over...
Braddock, the answer is Johnny Unitas, brilliant field general of the Baltimore Colts.
Sir, did you know the answer all along?
Right from the minute you mentioned he was quarterback of the Baltimore Colts. Now, if you just say the 12-page sports encyclopedia...
Oh, hold on, sir. Johnny Unitas is the right answer, but did you say that you used no guesswork at all?
That's right, Braddock.
Well, as you know, I ask my listeners to guess who the sports figure is, and I'm afraid you disqualified yourself by actually knowing ahead of...
I'm going to get a lawyer, Braddock. When I do...
This is Johnny Braddock closing out another edition of Sportsaphone. Try your luck again next week, sports fans, but for right now, so long.
And now the following is a transcribed message from the McBeebe twins.
Hello, this is a transcribed message from us, the McBeebe twins.
I said that.
Okay. We just like to say right out loud that we've got a crush on two of CBS Radio's lovely young ladies. They're Jane and Joan, the identical boy twins, and they're heard in a song show called W Pleasure each night but Saturday on CBS Radio. If you're listening, girls, we think you're top. And one more thing. Since you're not working Saturday night, how about four of us going out for some chow mein and maybe take in a movie?
Is that the end of the transcription?
I think so.
Good.
But if we know the McBeebies are going to use the show as a telephone for a date, we'd have turned the transcription down flat.
We can't both get into a telephone booth at the same time. That's why.
Well, the month of March is coming to a close, and Wally Ballou has gone out to the famous Curbier's Farm in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, where he goes every year to see if the groundhog sees a shadow. He's also out there now to see if March is going out like a lamb. Come in, please, from Stroudsburg, Wally Ballou.
This is radio's Wally Ballou speaking to you from the Curbier's Farm in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, where the caretaker is about to give us a first-hand report on whether March will go out like a lamb, since it came in like a lion. Is that right, sir?
That's right. March comes in like a lion, and it goes out like a lamb. Every year, we have tested that saying here at the Ayers Farm. We go out here just about another 300 yards, Mr. Ballou. I want you to be sure and use my vehicle. We can drive out to the barn where we'll conduct this annual ceremony.
All right, sir, if we could just get in and drive over to that barn. I know that you have a lab in there.
Driving, it's Santa will just release the brake and we'll roll down.
Right, good
I don't
thing.
have any battery in this heap.
Well, it'll be easier than walking, I guess.
All right. You got all your equipment in?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll release the brake. Now we're slowly going down.
Rolling down the hill toward the barn on the north.
Very difficult to steer this keep. I think the oil has frozen in here.
Bumpy ride.
Yes, it is. Now we'll just... There we are. We're at the barn now.
The brakes worked, and now we're alighting from this vehicle, which we've coasted down the hill in, and we're heading for the Curbier's barn.
Now what I'll do is I'll walk up... you better not come much further.
All right.
Well, just hold your microphone up to see if you can hear me.
Hello. Haven't you put a new coat of paint on that barn since last year?
Hello, what? No.
Oh.
All right, now I'll just open the door and see if the lamb will come out.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Come on now.
Caretaker is asking him if he's coming out, explaining it's near the end of the month.
It's only 2 more days.
Close enough to be able to tell, I should think.
Coming out. 2 more days in the month of March. Coming out.
He just seems to be standing there, sir.
Come on up, lamb. You won't come out.
No, the lamb is standing there, just looking at the caretaker.
All right, close the door.
Well, I guess that's it then.
Blue.
What?
He's not coming out.
Not coming out. You
No.
think that's because this is only the 29th of the month? Or
Probably. We should have waited 2 more days. Now, if you'll help me push this heat back up the hill.
Well, that will be some bit of job, I think. And before we do that, I'll send it back to my main studios. This is Wally Ballou, returning it to my main studios.
And we're back here at the main studios. Poor Wally, having to push that heat back up the hill.
Well, he got a good ride down. Ride down.
Mm-hmm. Don't wonder why. He should do it.
Looks like it's clambering up for rain.
Well, let's see. Anything now that you wanted to
Tomorrow, I wanted to highlight the fact that we'll be calling in our ace weather predictor. Speaking of weather, Clifford Fleming.
Oh, don't miss that, because he has a brand new format. It's not the boring weather reporting that he has been doing all these years, but he throws in household hints, maybe a joke or two, and a homily now and then.
All in all, it's good listening.
It is. It's really nice. Okay, well, that's it.
That's what we're having for dinner tonight, homily.
We'll be back in just 10 seconds.
So, it's goodbye time until that day tomorrow, that time tomorrow when we'll be back. With no Critlings.
Until then, this is Ray Goulding reminding you to write if you get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumb.
Good night.
This program came from the CBS Radio Network
And KCBS AM/FM San Francisco.